Coming to you live from just outside the Big Ben statue. It's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's a guy who's very proud to be a part of Team Money. Here we go. It's the Mole Patrol here on Rob Has a Podcast. I'm Rob Cesternino, and we are very excited to talk about The Mole Week 2 as we get back into it with only 2 episodes left of Season 2 of The Mole on Netflix. And of course, back with us that she has freed herself from shackles to be here. Jessica Liese, Jess, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rob. I know you guys, right before this started, you guys said that I wasn't allowed to be on the podcast, but then I guessed that you both said I wasn't, so I got to come back.
But maybe not for long.
Maybe not for long. Maybe I won't be back next week. How you like that?
Okay. All right. And then a guy who's making his Mole Patrol 2024 debut, it's Josh Wigler. Josh, how are you?
Just in time to close it out too, which is great. It goes so quick, binge season of The Mole.
Yep. It's here and then it's gone. And 1 week to go here on The Mole. 2 episodes left, and we'll find out the identity and the winner of The Mole 2024. Brooklyn Zed is having technical issues. Can't be with us yet.
I am in touch with Brooklyn Zed right now, and it sounds like there's been a saboteur, a mole, if you will, with their microphone, which, of course, you can shorten microphone to Mike. Is Mike the Mole?
Yeah. Okay.
Is this
Josh,
all an elaborate clue?
Text Brooklyn Zed. Ask them if they cut one of the wires on the microphone.
You cut one of the wires.
If there's a black wire, tell them not to cut that.
If there's a black wire, do
not cut the black wire that is attached to the microphone.
That is attached to the microphone. Jess is on this text and can attest that I just transferred all of that verbatim. So
okay.
Every
That's
last
important.
bit of that.
First rule of podcasting, okay?
Yeah.
Also, do not cut the wires that are attached to the headphones.
Do not cut the wires that are attached to the headphones either. Got it.
If your Mac has a white wire sticking out of the back, do not cut the white wire.
Hold on, you're going too fast. If your Mac has a white wire sticking out of the back,
do not cut that wire.
Do not cut that wire.
I just want to apologize to Sam behind the scenes because whenever my phone blows up, Sam gets on my case because the microphone picks up the buzz. So my phone just went crazy because Josh has me on copy for all of these. So I'm sorry, Sam. I moved my phone.
Yeah.
Some technical difficulties. We're trying to surmount them.
Okay.
As we start off here for week 2.
Week 2 of The Mole. Okay. So, yeah, a lot to work through here from these 3 episodes. I'm not sure if we're getting closer to figuring out the identity of The Mole, but would love to get Josh Wigler's first thoughts here. Josh, you've consumed 2 episodes of The Mole, and Mole Patrol Nation is dying to hear your thoughts.
I've only watched 2 episodes. Is that right?
2 weeks.
Oh, okay. It feels like 2 episodes because they got my boy Andy on the 2nd episode, and I nearly protested the rest of the season by not watching the remainder. As Jess and Zed rightly note, I'm an old man fan. If you're on The Mole and you're an old man,
that's not why you like me so much, right?
No, I mean, if you're an old man, I'm an old man. I mean, I think it's getting to a point where we could do the Millennials versus Gen X
on the Mole
season of RHAP probably. And I know where I stand on that. But no, I love an old man. And Andy is the sharpshooter. No one knows how to tie knots like Andy. I didn't even get a chance. I didn't even get a chance to work on an Andy impression, Jess. I can't even do it. What do you think? I'm Andy. No, I can't even do it.
You didn't get enough time with Andy to really work.
I'm Andy.
Yeah.
No. Okay. I'm pretty sure he doesn't say that.
Wow. Yeah, his signature line. It's me, Andy.
Right. Well, here we are heading into potentially double elimination night on The Mole as we wait to find out.
Potentially, Rob, we just got a 2nd week of The Mole. and 2 people got eliminated, and that's it. And one of those people got eliminated twice. What the hell kind of garbage?
You just picked the wrong weeks to be out, Josh. We were having fun before you got here.
What sort of sense is that? Yeah, I just had to refresh myself because I watched it over the weekend so quickly, and I was like, okay, looking at the Wikipedia, Quaylen gets eliminated twice in a row.
Yes.
Then Niche having
was
robbed the bank.
Yeah.
Having stolen and God bless Niche. Loved Niche. Loved the move. Take it all. Who cares? You got to just survive another week.
The greatness of Niche was that we ended last week on the cliffhanger of who is going to take all of the money in exchange for the exemption. Who's taking the $56K? I don't believe, Jess, that Niche was on too high on our radar of suspects, right?
No, I didn't think he had it in him, honestly.
I
didn't think he was the mole, but I didn't think he had that in him.
So he had the cojones to take the $56K and then spend the rest of week 2 complaining about everybody else not being a team player.
Yeah. I have no defense for him other than I loved the Cadge ones.
He was great.
We loved the Cadge ones of the decision. I thought it was great.
Okay.
I thought it was a great move.
And look, okay, we thought Q was gone, and then Q showed up. Okay, Brooklyn Zed is here.
Yay!
Hello.
Zed, you
Brooklyn
made it.
Zed.
Yeah, I don't know who the mole is, but apparently they're following me around wherever I go and sabotaging my ability to get to the podcast.
So here's what I would say is that if this podcast was structured like an episode of The Mole, Zed, you wouldn't have come in until there were 8 seconds left in the podcast.
Of course.
But I think probably in reality, how some of this stuff goes is like how this actually just went.
So we're going to edit it later.
Yes.
And we're going to put Zed on the end.
Yeah, that's right. With 8 seconds left. Here's
Good
Brooklyn
job,
Zed.
contestants. You've unlocked Brooklyn Zed, but the next thing you have to do is then determine the most interesting moments of the week. Let's see how you do.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. All right. We're on to part 2.
All right, Ari. Sorry, Ari.
Yeah.
Can you do the eyebrows, Rob?
No, I can't.
That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like he does a lot of I think his signature pose is like the Stefan. Yeah, he's just like
smelling his fingers,
clasped hands. I
haven't seen a lot of mole memes. I haven't seen a ton of mole gifs or anything.
It's been quiet out here.
Shatter has been quiet.
We're in week 2 of The Mole, and The Mole, according to my Netflix, is only at number 10 in most watched TV shows of the week. So even the Netflix algorithm is not loving The Mole too much.
Well, there's a world where The Mole isn't even cracking the top 10 because doesn't Netflix put out 100 different things every single week? So I think it's actually, to me, it's shocking to see The Mole in the top 10 when the discourse has been so quiet. Of course, all of you lovely people are out here watching, listening to this podcast, but I think it might just be us, gang. I think you listening to this and watching it, I think it's possible that we're it. I think
but good, they make it just for us. We're special.
We're starting to get into
they would have more Oldman in the cast.
We're starting to get into that Black Mirror Streamberry territory where they're just making bespoke shows for Rob as a podcast.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Salma Hayek is the mole.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. Or is it Kate Blanchett? Okay. So, Brooklyn Zed, what has been your reaction to week 2?
I appreciated that at least there was less of a pot roller coaster than we had in week 1. I think my main observation is
it could have been a pot roller coaster for a lot of viewers.
I think so.
It's not good enough to appeal to that segment, so that's why it's only number 10. It needs to be weirder.
It could definitely be weirder. I'm noticing the mechanisms of and you're going to get so much money for this thing that's not that difficult. Or we'll take money away when you make phone calls from the money you might earn, not from the money you've already earned, as ways to help keep building it up as we're in the end game here, because it would be really awkward if it was a $20,000 pot at the end of the game.
Can I just toss in a thing from the chat? Here's Dolores saying Rob C would do a better job as mole host. Sorry, Ari. Is this the thing that Netflix isn't doing right? Should Rob be the host of Netflix's 3rd season of The Mole? Should we go from like world-class journalist Anderson Cooper to whoever the other two were, to world-class journalist Alex Wagner, to world-class journalist Ari Shapiro, to world-class journalist Rob Cesternino.
Another great journalist.
Is that the journey?
Ari Shapiro is a podcaster.
Start the hashtag sorry, Ari.
The pipeline.
It's radio, which is kind of, it's like a podcast, but
it's like a podcast. Yeah.
like a podcast.
Yeah. I don't want to pile on Ari. I think he had a pretty
what I was gonna say
week.
is I thought that Ari, I've been like not sure about Ari, and then in week 2, I think I was starting to like trend up on Ari, and then Ari with the final 30 seconds or so of this week absolutely secures me when he's across from Hannah, and Hannah has this big decision to make, and you see Ari with like the Chinese teacup going.
With this little cup that he's holding with both hands as he just does not break eye contact.
He's trying to be a gift. That is
pursing those little lips, looking like an imp. Love it. That's some mole host behavior.
Yeah,
that's good.
He needs to be more evil, and I think he's gotten more evil as the season goes along. But at least, like, I feel like he understands the assignment a little bit more than Alex Wagner did.
Okay, well, I do want to talk through a little bit of the actual moling that's happening in the season. And let me just start with Josh, that we didn't get to get your takes back in after the first week. Do you have a strong inkling about the mole, and has it changed from week 1 to week 2?
I had, for a minute there, I thought actually that it could be Niche. I had this thought that, like, Niche being put in that position he's put in the very first episode is like some sort of pull the wool over everybody, where some other people might be able to get onto the season, but they're not actually going to be able to do. But then I thought about it for like 5 more seconds, like, but they ran out of bullets. Like, how would they have done that? So Niche was ruled out relatively quickly for me. I don't have a super strong feeling. Muna is maybe somebody who had been on my radar because I had seen her on the only season of Sequester that I had ever watched. I had seen Muna on that, and she's like a great strategic player. But she kind of strikes me maybe more as this season's Jim, as per season 1, like a really good, smart, able to vet these people kind of player that seems a little sus. So I'm starting to trend out on Muna, and I'm starting to think that maybe, is it Deanna? Deanna? I'm starting to think that maybe Deanna would be a great pick for the mole, and that her moves would be kind of elite if she's the mole, which is, I'm on a Netflix show. They just cast a bunch of actors who want to make TV moments to mess this whole thing up. I don't have to do anything. I can just tell the truth the whole time. There's really nothing I really got to try and sabotage. These jabronis are going to do it themselves. So I kind of feel like maybe she's my lead pick right now. But the chat is very hot right now for Ryan as a mole contender. And I got to tell you, I barely know who this person is.
That's how they get you. Yeah, I was by the end of the week 1, I felt very strongly about Ryan. Nothing changed, in my opinion, in week number 2, especially culminating in the Big Ben statue in the escape in the final episode. Zed, how are you feeling on your mole patrol?
I am still between Ryan and Michael. And what was frustrating this week is that they were together on almost everything they did. So that did not help differentiate their behavior very much.
Yeah, amazingly. Yeah. And that group of 2 got nothing accomplished.
Nothing. And I also noticed when Q did come back that they were the 2 who did not clap. And then Ryan didn't clap ever at all. She just stood there. Michael eventually was like, okay, fine, I'll be happy because we should be happy. We made money. Ryan, not happy, not even pretending to be happy.
Yeah. Jess, how about for you?
I feel like there's just been so many things that Ryan has done that have been sus in a way that are not, it does not feel like it's trying to obviously be sus. Like we've seen everybody F up in this batch of episodes, but anytime Ryan F's up, she doesn't like call attention to it. She doesn't lampshade it in quite that way.
I also feel like that, I think that Michael and Ryan are both two possibilities, but I feel like that Michael in his confessionals, I feel like has expressed like real emotion at times. Like he's concerned about, okay, is like, did Sean just do what I think he did? Where Ryan, she talks in her confessionals about how she thinks Michael is the mole, but there's really very little emotion to what she is trying to tell us in her confessionals. And so I feel like that I'm locked in on Ryan. I'm going to be shocked if it's not Ryan.
That's interesting. So you think that because, I mean, maybe that's part of the reason why I barely know who or what Orion is because like she's not popping off in the confessionals at all. Well, and like that was not terribly dissimilar to Cassie last season, that she wasn't like really popping in the confessionals. And so if it does turn out that all of you are right and Ryan is the mole, and like part of like the guessing of who the mole was that she was among the more like subdued players, that's a really bad trend for picking the mole. And I feel like they need to invest in somebody who's going to be pretty dynamic because I don't know. I'm pretty sleep if Ryan's the mole.
The bigger problem for the mole is that nobody is actually too invested in putting money into the prize pot. We have where that like it's a big storyline on the show that nobody wants to put money in the prize pot. Q was too pure for this world. Yeah. He was the only one that was trying to add some money. Yeah, maybe Deanna and maybe like in a perfect world, Muna would put the money, and Hannah claims to be team money now, even though she was responsible for losing. Don't think I forgot last week that Hannah made $40,000 go out of the prize pot. So nobody is that too invested in trying to add money to the pot. So the mole's job is very easy in 2024.
Yeah. Is Hannah gonna open up what's underneath door number 4, dim sum number 4?
I really hope not.
I think she is, though. I think she will. Yeah, because it's a double elimination. I think it's going to be a very weak cliffhanger to then come back. So, nah, I'm good.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
I know. I don't think so.
Double exemption
I think she takes
a big deal.
I think she takes it.
Double exemption is a big deal, and she doesn't have anyone. Like she said, she's like, I got like 1 or 2 real people that all have to
Jessica Liese, let me tell you something about Jessica, is a master of being able to predict what is going to happen when they come back from commercial on a show. That is one of Jess's superpowers.
No, I think it's the genetic thing. Like, you know how my son can predict the Amazing Race winner, and it only applies to Amazing Race US? I think maybe my superpower of predicting what's going to happen after commercial, that might only apply to Amazing Race. I'm sorry to say.
Ah, man.
Plus, we don't have commercials because we're Netflix, and they haven't figured out how to squeeze another dime out of us to make us watch commercials.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
So then what's your educated guess for Hannah?
I think she's going to keep going because I think she's really, like, you can't let it ride when there's, like, fully, a third of the players are going to get kicked off the show immediately. You got to keep letting it ride because otherwise, it's not like it's not like if she opens that basket and says game over, it's not like it's game over for her. It just means like she's getting tossed back into
anything.
Yeah, she didn't win anything.
Now, if you hit game over, is that like a whammy? Do you lose the 20K if she's like, all right, I'm going to let it ride?
You do. You lose all the things.
Yes.
So it's like you don't have any incentive. Like nobody else is like, nobody else is there. She can just keep going and keep going and keep going. She'd be like, I failed. And she either gets the exemption or she fails. It's like the two outcomes.
But she also could come back and say, I did what the mole said. I thought it was a bluff. I picked the game over. The mole got me.
Yeah, exactly. Like she could just, she could just fail. There's
but one of the things is they love to just like out everybody. Like I feel like when
Niche outed himself.
Well,
he didn't have to say.
No, I get this. He was going to have to walk up and get that exemption anyway. I think that they made him say it. I think it would have been so much better if Niche didn't have to say anything, but I get the sense that he had to get up, walk across that room, and go and grab that exemption. If he doesn't have to out himself, I think that Niche is playing a totally different game for these last couple of weeks. And I think that that really screwed Niche. And I think that's one of the things I really don't like about this iteration of the mole is I think like they go out of their way to like identify your tricksy behavior. And I feel like if Hannah comes back and she screws up the thing and she gets a game over and she's like, yeah, I fell for the mole's thing. I think Ari's gonna be like, is that the real story, Hannah? Is that exactly how that actually went? Huh? Do you want to tell the truth? Do you want to tell the truth to
Yeah,
the
you
whole
got to
class?
be able to lie
And it
without
doesn't feel like they can.
production blowing up your spot.
I feel like production blows up the spat.
Mhm.
Don't like that.
Yeah. So who does that help? Does it help the mole if production blows up Hannah's spot if she's not the mole?
I guess it helps the mole.
Hmm.
But it honestly, like, if she just draws the game over and she doesn't get anything and she goes back out there, it's like, why did we even have this mission? Like,
Yeah.
you could just, it's one of those portions of the game not affecting the outcome that you could just lift right out of there and not even show.
Yeah. I was so perplexed about why when they were picking the person to go do it, Deanna volunteers. And I said to myself, boy, that's a great pick.
Great pick.
Deanna has been nothing but honest, has not betrayed the entire game. She's never taken the money. Yes, Deanna is a great pick. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, no, Hannah's team money, though. Okay, well, let's all vote for Hannah.
Yeah.
And then Michael nominates
Moon.
Muna.
Yeah.
Why did Michael nominate Muna? We didn't really
Great
explore
question.
that at all.
I think it's everybody trying to make Muna is the mole happen, and literally nobody thinks Muna is the mole.
Yeah.
If it turns out Muna is the mole, I feel like that's the best outcome because none of us think that's the case.
I do
Yeah.
feel like they got all worked up about the key situation
Mm.
when like everybody ran back after they got one key. It's not like she was hiding that from them. Even if the other one was easy to find, if you don't know you're looking for more than one, she could have just as easily only found the temple key and not found the gate key. And they still would have all run back and been stuck.
Yeah. But I think that Muna had like a reaction to that seemed like, oh my God, people are going to think that that's suspicious that I did that. Where like, I feel like that has not been the type of confessional we get from the mole.
Yeah. Muna would be a great mole if it turns out that Muna is the mole, I think, because she has been so dynamic on TV. She is a really good liar. I don't think that... Did we ever get real resolution to whether anyone thinks it was her or... what was the name of the dude who couldn't stop tongue kissing Hannah? What was his name? Tony. And so then they thought, like, did they think it was Tony? Has Muna gotten away with that one?
I think so.
I
It
think,
never
like,
really
she's-
came
from
up
the
again
first
after
week?
that
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I think she's crafty. I think it would be very, very fun. But I also think that she's just like a good like social strategy player. So
Mhm.
She's put like more money in the pot than just about anybody else.
Yeah, she's my winner pick, honestly.
that would be great.
Yeah.
I would love that as well.
Yeah.
Would love that as well.
Let's talk about the week that was here, week number 2. Only 3 episodes, although a lot of stuff did happen. So let's talk about it. Let's go back to, okay, we find out that Niche took the exemption, and everybody is just furious because people hate Niche to begin with, and now they have like a justifiable reason to all hate Niche.
Remind me, what was the name of the person that everyone hated last season? Wasn't there like this huge...
Pass.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, was it Will?
I don't
The big
know.
blonde
It was
guy?
not Will. It was it was
No.
the woman.
Yeah. There was like
I-
the huge fight at the table, and it was starting to get like really Joy. Thank
Joy,
you to,
yes,
to,
thank
to Dr. Watson in the chat. That was a really big to do, and I remember us having a really fun time talking all of that through. But the amount of hate that was just targeted at a single human individual, I don't know that I've seen anything quite like that on the Mole before. You're so stupid, Niche. You're an idiot, Niche. You know we got to make some money here, Niche. I hate you,
Hannah told him to
Niche.
shut up.
Shut up,
Muna
Niche.
hopping in her desk to turn away from
Yeah,
him.
she couldn't look. I can't even look at you, Niche.
I loved it. I loved
was
it.
great.
I it was so fun. And then Niche, like, he is a niche interest for me. That stay the same, always niche, because that niche is gonna always
is my favorite philosopher.
Yes. He's always then gonna volunteer to be the leader at things. And
he's gonna get shot down.
People are like, nah, I don't think so. You would actually not be a good leader.
That's the best runner of the whole season, was Niche trying to lead and everyone else being like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Deanna at one point is like, I'm going to push back on that. I don't think that you would be a good pick at all. What? So he's going to make a lot of suggestions. People are going to shoot them down. But he gets away with the exemption.
Did he make the right move, Zed, do you think, by like taking all the money? Is he right when he says, like, you're all just mad because I bet the most because you all were going to try and take it anyway?
Well, I don't think, I mean, clearly he didn't know who the mole was. He said he didn't, and that's why he needed the exemption. But one more round clearly did not buy him enough
actually
time.
Two more rounds where Q goes home on.
True, true. 2 more rounds did not buy him enough time to figure it out.
Niche was safe.
Yeah.
So
he had an exemption. That exemption was named Q.
Yeah, he had a little niche to hide in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very expensive delay.
What do we think the second highest bid was?
I would guess it was like the highest bid minus $1.
Mm-hmm.
No, because he went for didn't he drained it
every single dollar.
Yeah, I'm saying there was like $1. The second highest one was somebody trying to Price is Right it.
Michael bid like 54,000.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So Niche got all the blame. Didn't ultimately save him too much.
If you're gonna go in like that, you should just take it all, right? Just full tilt. Like you just got to clear the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have our quiz for Q. Q, he was always putting money in the pot, too pure for this world. He is out.
Yeah.
Okay. And so
I liked Q. I was
like relieved on his behalf.
Yeah. Because I did think
not for you.
I did think he might like suffer from some sort of like health crisis after everyone went to the movies, except for him.
Did you like that?
I really thought that he was like his heart was gonna explode out of his chest. Like he was like, we gotta make money here. It's like that Q was the only person that I was like 1,000,000% sure. Okay, you sir are not the mole. Like you are way too mad about that. Either you're a tremendous actor, or you are like very authentically pissed about this. And yeah, I think Q going home just made everyone hate Niche more.
So, all right, Q leaves, but it's a very quick turnaround for Q. That we then get a question from Ari. He texts everybody that do you would you vote yes or no to Q coming back into the game? Let me pose this question. We get a close up on Ryan's phone. Ryan's phone is in like 50-point font. Is that more or less likely that she's the mole?
That's a good way to throw people off the scent. It's like, can you read this for me? It's my cataracts.
Yeah, where are my readers? Yeah. But my thought was that if she's a production darling, where it's like, hey, can we give you the phone that has the giant font so people can read it?
It's probably more that the camera needs to be able to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. The only phone font that I've ever seen bigger is my mother's phone font. It's like 10 times bigger.
You caught that though, Josh?
Yes.
Ryan's phone? Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge.
Giant font.
My mom has like 4 letters a line. Like that's it. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. All right. So it's a vote. 4 people say no, and only 3 people say yes. But now, okay, this is not just a majority rules. Here comes Q. He has to guess how many people voted for him to stay.
Yeah. How would
and then
you
he gets
all
to
have
talk
voted?
to them?
How would you have voted, Jess?
I mean, you're putting money in the pot. I think I got to be team money on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Q is not a threat.
He's not the mole.
He's not the mole. He's not good at this. Like,
yeah.
He's just there for the good time vibes.
Yeah, and he clearly doesn't know who the mole is. And if you can all kind of like agree, like, all right, bring Q back, but no one can help Q. You know, we can't talk to Q about our theories. We can't talk to Q. We can't give Q any information. Q gets to live as long as Q gets to live if Q comes back, but we can't help Q out at all. I think it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on this version of the show, I feel like we're really not seeing people working together, sharing information the way that we have in the past. Like, I don't have a sense of people working together to figure things out. I know some people trust some people more than they trust others, but I don't really have a sense that there's a lot of information, suspicion, top suspect sharing going on.
It's hard to determine who's exchanging what with each other. The only real
Hannah and Tony were exchanging things.
You took the joke right out of my mouth.
Sorry.
That's where I was.
No, that's what Tony did.
Hey, he took it out of my mouth. I did not kiss that man. I'm out on Tony.
No,
I don't
Tony's
even
out
like
of
it.
Okay.
Don't even like it.
Muna says, listen, I'll tell you what's going on. 3 people voted for you to say yes.
Yeah, Muna's laying it down. Okay, who were the yeses and who were the nos again? Sean was a no.
Muna, Hannah, and Deanna were the yeses.
Yeah, okay.
The people I most trust to not be the mole were the 3 people who said yes.
This is why I still love Deanna as a possible mole, though, where like her whole MOLE is that she's like, you're all going to blow this up. I'm just going to do nothing but be totally straight.
Well, I think this is actually pretty straightforward. Like we have, and again, maybe there's some sort of like double bluff situation. You have Muna, Deanna, and Hannah are 3 people who seem like they are earnestly trying to add money to the pot.
Yeah.
And then Niche is gone. Q is gone. Michael and Sean are both doing the same exact strategy of I'm trying to make everybody think I'm the mole so that they are confused. And Ryan just is the mole. She's not ever telling us that she's trying. She's not team money. God. And she's not team I'm going to trick everybody to think I'm the mole.
Yeah, I think she probably has to be the mole because otherwise why is she still on the show? Just like I feel like you never see her doing anything.
I mean, you never see her as it is. She gets so few confessionals, I feel like, compared to everybody else.
It's probably because like every time she got interviewed, she's like, I don't know how to say that. I'm the fucking mole.
But what do I always say that you have to do if you're the mole? Literally nothing. And she's doing literally nothing.
That's what I'm saying about Deanna. Do nothing.
Yeah, you can literally add money to the pot as the mole because somebody else is going to take it out anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. For anybody who didn't listen to the podcast last week, I feel like the evidence from week 1 that Ryan was the mole was there was a very suspicious moment that didn't get a lot of attention that only Hannah clocked, where that somebody was one of the people was eating the chicken. What would you call it? Satay.
Satay, yeah.
Satay?
Love a chicken satay.
Yeah.
You would love a chicken satay if you haven't had it before.
I would. She said that person had a dumpling, and that was also the exemption where Hannah did not share that, or that the quiz where Hannah did not share that information with Tony, and Tony ended up going home. Hannah did not. Also, Josh, back in the paintball challenge, that there were 3 people with paintballs that were there. It was Niche, Ryan, and was it
Jennifer?
One of the other people. Yeah, one of the other people that was there.
Yeah,
Ryan
Jennifer
was the only person with 1 paintball left. Had the 1 in a million shot to end the first game to make sure that none of the strangers got into the game.
Okay, and she did it.
She
shot
did
the
it,
guy.
but like that was like one hell of a coincidence. One paintball ended up being the difference in the game in her one. I think that there could have been a sharpshooter on the grassy knoll.
That's an interesting point. Did anyone have like eyes on Ryan specifically shooting the gun?
Yeah, I mean, the person did not even need to get hit with a paintball to fall down.
They
and
just needed to fall over at the correct time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everyone's like, did that guy just fake it?
Like nobody could really see anything between the surprise smoke bombs and the fact that their view was coming from the drone.
Full confirmation bias on Ryan. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
If
I don't
wrong,
think that
I'm
guy
wrong.
was really dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Look, it's not a conspiracy if it's true.
It's true. We got to wait 1 week. We'll find out.
It's still a conspiracy. It's just a true one.
True conspiracy. All right. So finally, Q says, okay, I'm going to listen to Muna. Okay. 3 people. He gets back into the game. And now Q knows that Niche and Sean betrayed him.
Sean is such a dirty little liar. Can I say that? Am I allowed to talk about how Sean's such a dirty little liar?
He's an undercover cop. Of course he's a dirty little liar.
Sean's just like, we want you back at the game. You know, more people, man. Like, totally. And he's just like, yeah, bro, we want you back, Q. And he's like, you're just such a dirty little liar.
Yeah.
What a bad friend you are.
Wait till we get to his prisoner's dilemma with Muna.
God.
All right.
Bad guy.
It's a daring cave raid. Josh, you love Indy. Was this exciting for you?
I love Indy. I have recently discovered that I hate caves.
Oh, did you go in a cave?
Yeah, relatively recently I did, and I had flashbacks to the one time that I did a set visit for The Amazing Race, and I had to run around in a subterranean lair, and I had a panic attack because I was feeling really claustrophobic. I literally jumped out of my shoes, and then I was in a cave not terribly long ago, and while I was in the cave, I was back in the underground subterranean lair in Mexico when I went and did The Amazing Race set visit. I had another panic attack, but this time I was around strangers, and I didn't feel comfortable jumping out of my shoes, so I stayed in my shoes, but I felt really uncomfortable, and when I came out of the cave, I was like, I don't think I'm going back into a cave again. So I didn't like it, actually.
Wow.
What a rabbit hole into our cave we just went down.
Yeah, that was a journey.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it. No.
All right. Well, what would have been better for you? Team Rope or Team River?
I would have been, if in another world where Andy is still around. I'm Team Rope. Yeah. Let's see those knots in action, baby.
Yeah.
But in a world where Andy's not here, put me on the river. Put me on the river.
Because the mole might tie the knot incorrectly and you'd fall to your death.
Yeah. Or if not to my death, then down into the cave. And I don't want to be down into the cave. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there without a rope or a way of rising from the cave. It's like, if I was Batman, and you know how Batman falls into the cave and then he's surrounded by bats and he's scared of bats for the rest of his life? Yes. I think if that had been me, I would have had to come out of that being caveman. I would have been scared of the
Captain Caveman?
Yeah, I think that would be my superhero.
Doesn't Batman have the Bat Cave?
He does, but I think I would have ended up with the cave bat.
Like you have a bat in the cave to fend off.
Yeah.
To fend off anybody that tries to put him in a cave.
Yeah, keep me out of there.
Okay.
The chat stopped. I'm sorry to talk about the cave so much, guys.
It's okay.
I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
This is why Josh's favorite philosopher is not Plato.
This is my cave bat.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I said my favorite philosopher is Nietzsche.
I know, I'm saying.
Okay. So anything to highlight in the cave raid before we get into picking the animals? Q did some good work, I thought, on the reverse number sequence.
These number puzzles. My 7-year-old could do these number puzzles. Now, granted,
I did not get the reverse, like the numbers in a mirror. That one I did not know.
No, I didn't either. But no one on this show has heard of the Fibonacci sequence, which is what those numbers were in the first question.
Nobody name checks Fibonacci. That's a travesty.
Yeah. And I guess just in case there's anyone who's listening that doesn't know the Fibonacci sequence, do you want to just like set that up for anyone?
It's exactly the way they explained it. 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 1 is 3. It's like 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. And then I don't remember what comes next.
And there's rabbits.
Right.
And I don't know what it's for. I don't know what the use of it is. I just know that it exists.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a thing. The thing with the reverse
I have a
numbers,
BFA. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Speaking as someone else with a humanities degree, the thing with the numbers being mirrored, like that's a pretty classic brain teaser puzzle of the sort that people that pretend they're in Mensa like. So I've seen that one about 150,000 times in the course of my life because I know a lot of people that are pretentious douches who like puzzles.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably good prep for the mole, though, to study
Mensa
those
puzzles.
types of things. Yeah. Okay. So ultimately, that we get to that both teams have like a 50-50 shot of picking the right animal. It's the fish or the tiger or what is it? The bird or the tiger.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Niche immediately says tiger, and Hannah therefore says not Tiger.
Not
essentially.
Tiger.
Not Tiger.
Not whatever niche wants
Yes.
is her answer and
Yes.
priority.
There seems to be a lot of tiger iconography. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that means something. Does it mean are the tigers pointing to Deanna, who is famous for don't F with cats, which
That's
are
true.
close cousins?
Tiger
to
King was
tigers,
on Netflix.
right?
Yeah, but
So is
so
the
is
mole.
this. All of these people are on Netflix.
Yeah.
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 Ryan,
You either die a Netflix subscriber or live long enough to become
To
Joey
appear
Exotic.
on Netflix.
Yeah. Ryan was one of the people also pushing for the fish, I will add. Niche was so confident. They didn't pick the tiger, and Niche was like, well, okay, have fun losing.
Yeah. Well, so Niche says tiger, and then Hannah immediately goes, we should go with the fish. Pick the fish, take the fish. And as soon as she says that, then both Michael and Ryan start backing her up, which feels like something the mole would do if they know it's the wrong answer. But they both did it. So that doesn't help make things any clearer between those two suspects.
Okay. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, they go for the tiger.
Success.
They
They don't have the mole in their team.
Yes, Q is trusting Muna now. He goes with the tiger. And then we come back to find out it was the same for both teams. It was the tiger. And the River team added the $20K to the pot. Okay, so the River team was Sean, Muna, Deanna, and Q. That was the team that added money.
Yeah.
Time
And
for
ours
another-
says, and
The eye
ours
of the
says, rope
tiger.
team, you did nothing. And Hannah has this look on her face of like, well, I did disagree with Niche, and that is worth a lot.
Mhm.
Mm.
You should really just put money in the pot every time you disagree with Niche, right?
That would be something.
I
Okay,
hate
so
him
we have
so
our
much.
quiz again. And at this point, I'm realizing, like, boy, Q has a chance to do the funniest thing ever here in this quiz.
Operation Revolving Door.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he really does just Grandpa Simpson it, right? Like he
I
comes
I was
in,
just going to say that. Yeah.
takes his hat off, puts it on
Yeah.
the rack, does a little do-si-do, grabs the hat, puts it back on, out the door.
And so I wonder here for the cast that so it goes Muna, Michael, Hannah, Sean, Ryan are all safe. I noticed that Michael has the biggest poop eating grin on his face. I think he knows what's coming here as Q is about to get eliminated
And he
again.
thinks it's funny. He thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
I like Michael. I think he's hilarious.
I think Michael delights in a lot of Schadenfreude across this game.
Yeah. Q was eliminated again. We never found out really what he was thinking going into the time he got eliminated, what he was going to do differently, who he was putting the sauce on this time.
Is it possible that he didn't do anything differently?
Yeah, did he just vote the same? Where maybe he was like, you know what? When I was gone, I was upset about it. But when I came back, I came to realize I hate these people.
Stick to your guns, Q.
I just want out of here.
Yeah, maybe he's
Mhm.
self-evicted.
Let me go.
Yeah. He's going to tin cup this thing. Tin cups comes later. Okay. All right. Q is out again. Ari, I thought had the audacity to say, like, well, you know, Q, you played it in a way that you should be proud of. Okay, I guess.
See, Anderson Cooper was never mean to them like this. He was a little bit evil, but he wasn't like mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Anderson Cooper actually fits really nicely in between the polls represented by Alex and Ari, where like Alex was, I think, chummy with the cast. Like I feel like Alex liked the cast and the cast liked Alex, but she wasn't like, you know, aggressive with them or mean towards them. And I don't get the sense that like Ari like really does dinner with these people or like, you know, has any sort of like fancy shrimp cocktails or anything with these guys, and he's just instead just mean. And I think that Andy Coops is like right there in the center.
It's almost like he thinks that he has a more intimate relationship with them than he actually does. So he feels like he can needle them like this, and it turns out that he can't because they don't actually like him that much.
Or he knows that this is probably going to be the last season of the show, and so he could just be like, you know, I'll just be my true self. I'll just be
Full tilt boogie.
Yeah,
You got to.
wretched towards these people.
Okay. Let's go out to the dredger. Can we beat the bomb? Who can beat the bomb?
Not me. Brooklyn Zed. Brooklyn Zed can beat the bomb.
bomb.
Yep. Brooklyn Zed can beat the bomb, as evidenced by the fact that Brooklyn Zed's microphone,
It's
and
here.
I've got the photographic evidence of what their microphone looked like.
Well, I
did you
literally
do,
had a
Zed?
screwdriver out 5 minutes before I came on this podcast.
Brooklyn Zed's
Your microphone got
exploded.
unscrewed?
Yeah.
Well, when I tried to plug it in, the power port kept retreating further into the body of the mic.
Like a
So I had to
scared turtle.
take it all out to put it back together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Nobody's
So
ever done
we
that
got-
I don't
before.
understand this puzzle, though, in terms of how to know which wire to cut. Because it seems like there could be any number of iterations of correct answers.
Okay, so when you get to, two people have a red wire. They're on the walkie. I got a red and a yellow. Okay, two people have red. Two people have yellow. I think you have to cut one and see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right?
you
And
can't
then
get
the
all
chain
three.
of results can be correct.
Yes. Yep.
But
yes.
only with a lucky guess are you getting all three of them right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to try to maximize your.
Yeah.
If the choice is between red and yellow, isn't it clear? If it's yellow, let it mellow.
If it's red, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, and they did, and then they
What if it's blue?
exploded $10,000.
Yeah, that's why you have to cut yellow, because the mole is going to know that if it's yellow, let it mellow. And so you're not going to cut it. So you shouldn't let it mellow.
Mhm.
You should instead go for yellow.
What if the mole just poisons both goblets, Josh? What about that?
Never mess with the mole when death is on the line.
Saying.
In an old tin dredger. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have our three teams. We have Hannah and Muna, who work together very efficiently. I feel like really ruling out either of them as a major mole suspect to me.
Hannah and who?
Muna.
Hannah and Muna.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then
Hannah
we
seems
had...
a lot more focused now that she doesn't have Tony.
Tony.
all over her.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Then
She's
we had
23. What are you going to do?
the team. Deanna, Sean,
among
and
us?
Niche are together. Amazingly, that's like the miracle that they actually ended up getting to where they got.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we had the disaster team of Michael and Ryan.
Yeah.
They really teamed up in like suspicion levels of like Muna and Hannah are the least suspicious. And then you have the middle trio of Niche, Deanna, and Sean, who are all like maybe a little suspicious. And then you have Michael and Ryan, who no one trusts to do anything. And maybe they shouldn't have let the two of them go together.
Well,
but
that's
here
what
we
I'm
are.
saying. Like, if you're the mole and you know the other person that everybody thinks is the mole, like,
Yeah.
just kind of attach yourself to that person, and then they end up getting blamed for all your molishness.
Yeah, but
Michael
maybe
opened the clue. Michael cut the wire.
maybe nobody is suspecting Ryan that much, and that's why that they felt like, okay, it's okay to have Ryan go with Michael, who's a suspicious character.
Do you think they know she's there?
Oh.
Okay. I think they know she exists. Sarah Cupcake says somebody in the Patreon Discord thinks Hannah has clocked Ryan, which is why she's more confident about getting money instead of the exemptions.
Mhm.
It is interesting that Hannah has had this turnabout of where she went from team exemption to team money. Do you think it's possible that after Tony went home and she had the piece of information that Ryan lied during the challenge, that she is now doing great on her exemption and trying to she's being very confident in her confessionals about how she knows she's going to get this money?
That makes
Yeah, she
perfect
says-
sense.
Yeah, you're taking money out of my pocket because I'm going to be at the end.
She said, I'm going to send a Venmo request to Niche for $60,000 after this is over.
Great. I would like to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. That's give me some more confirmation bias about Ryan being the mole. All right, let's yada yada to Michael and Ryan with about 90 seconds left. Open the box, and they have to make the decision about what to do. I watched this a second time. Did this come across super suspicious in terms of what was said to them and what they did?
I think they were given more information than they needed. And what they needed was just to be told, cut blue and nothing else. Because explaining the logic of, well, they cut red and that was wrong. So then we cut red, but we also have blue. So that means you need to cut blue because they cut red and all the colors got said and they went with the wrong one. I mean, I still think it probably happened on purpose, but I think it is easy to see how it could have been confusing.
Now, it was Michael who cut the wire, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
This is there was an interesting comment earlier in the chat from Joshua B, who said the answer was to cut the right wire for each of the wire sets. It was always the right wire from their perspective to cut.
That is interesting.
That?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that makes sense if the bomb is wired the exact same way.
Yeah. And they just color the wires differently.
With different colors, yeah.
Okay.
Tricky.
All right. That's what happens when you buy bombs in bulk. You know?
Yeah.
You want like bespoke bombs.
Custom made.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Individually tailored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they can't all just...
Thundercats 78 in the chat says the way Ryan epically failed in this bomb challenge to do anything during the whole hour of that challenge was wildly moly.
What does she have to do? She's with
They're like
Michael.
looking at a bucket. They're like, nope, this is just a bucket.
All you have to do is nothing, people.
Mm-hmm.
This is the easiest podcast I've ever done because I just keep saying that.
Yeah. But the problem is that the mole used to be there with people who were trying to do but now we have this emergent gameplay of everybody just trying to act like the mole.
I mean, that's always been a strategy. It's just that now everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's too easy to spend money from the pot. I think that's the difference too, is it used to be you can get money or an exemption. But I think in original seasons of the mole, there was never an opportunity to lose money from the pot in the process of trying to
They break the game.
Yeah. I think a little
kind of feels that way.
Yes. Yeah, I do think so.
If it's that easy to deplete the pot all the time, you know, as we keep saying, the mole doesn't have to do anything because the money will just go away in the course of players making mistakes or being selfish and going for exemptions.
Yeah, from Zen, does no one care about the money? And obviously Q cared about the money, but I think that like
Hannah
a lot
does
of
now.
it like now that Hannah like seems to have a read on it, that I feel like a lot for, I don't know, for some of the casting, it kind of just feels like the victory is getting on the show. And I think like having these mechanisms and like these like trap doors to just like submerge the money through and lose it. I think like that just keeps them around longer to get people to suspect that they're the mole. And I don't know. Yeah, I think if we see a third iteration of the Netflix mole and it's like very similar to this, where there's just like zap all the money all the time, I don't know. That's going to be kind of old. For me.
It's getting into too hot to handle territory.
Yeah.
Where there's no downside to taking money out of the pot. And it might even make you feel good for a second.
It's frustrating to get to episode 6 and there's no money in the pot and we could just as well be starting from the beginning.
Yeah. But then by the
it was
end
good
of
TV.
episode
I
9,
did think I thought that was
I kind of love it.
I did kind of love it.
I do kind of love it.
Yeah, like there's no doubt that there's going to be money in the pot by the end of the show. And as we end episode 9, you know, Ari tells us, okay, we're at 6 figures going in. And you know that the last 2 episodes, like I have no doubt that the ultimate prize pot's going to be anywhere in the neighborhood from like $150,000 to $250,000.
Yeah.
So then is the fundamental strategy, you play it as selfishly as you can until you get to the end, because you know you can recoup all those losses at the very last minute. And the goal is just to be there to get to those missions where they're worth all the money.
And that's literally what everybody's doing.
Which is why I think that when you get here in the finals of like, let's say next season, that the move should be like, no, we're not actually like tossing like tons more money into the pot, so that the 4th season cast is like, oh, dip, can't do it quite that same way. Can't do it like that.
Yeah. I wonder, could they like structure the show where, congratulations, contestants, you're all leaving here with $50,000. That's right. But if you get eliminated, you get nothing. I don't know. Would that change it at all?
Oh, so it's like you protect your stash.
Like, oh, I have my cut of the thing to start. I guess it's probably the same thing.
Yeah, it is, because there's still only one winner.
Yeah.
Like, if there was a way that like, maybe the answer is everybody has a prize, has their own individual prize pot. And then if you get below a certain threshold, you get eliminated. So they might eliminate 3 people. They might eliminate 1 person. They might eliminate nobody.
Kind of the way the Devil's Plan works. Which
Yeah, a little bit of
really
Devil's Plan.
Interesting elimination strategy that was less predictable.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's talk about what happens next, okay? Let's cut some shady deals. We got the 2 cars. In car 1 is Niche, Michael, Muna, and Deanna. In car 2 is Hannah, Ryan, and Sean. We need a negotiator. Niche volunteers. Deanna says, frankly, no. That's we're not doing that.
Yeah.
The audacity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Say vas up or niche. I don't think so. And that's where they
Like,
go.
hey, nobody likes me. How about I go do the negotiation?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So it's going to be Muna. It's going to be Sean. Okay. And we get our classic survivor journey prisoner's dilemma.
I just saw one of those.
Yep. You both say 50K, you get 50K. You both say exemption. If you both say exemption, it's nothing for anybody.
Right.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
No one gets anything.
And then if one person says exemption and the other person says money, then one team gets the exemption. Was the money still added to the pot or no?
No.
No. Okay. So just an exemption. And so we're going to go back and forth. Muna, do we believe that Muna, can we take her at her word that she was indeed team money the whole time?
I think so. And I think the problem with this mission is twofold. I think one, it would be more interesting if there was the option that if one side picks money and one side picks exemption, both things happen. But given that the option is either you have to trust the other side to not go for the exemption in order to get the money, or you kind of have to defend against that by also going for the exemption so that nobody gets it. And how late they did it into the season, nobody trusts anybody. So it feels like a non-starter that could only end up with everybody saying exemption out of like defending themselves from half the group being safe.
Mm-hmm. How about this whole
I
dog and
completely
pony
skipped
show?
this the second time I watched it. I was like, nothing's happening here.
Yeah. It was a lot of talking.
Yeah, this whole show that Sean puts on about how let's do it for them, do it for the people that aren't here.
What a dirty little liar.
Yep.
He's such a dirty little liar. He's sitting across there and like he's like all excited like a little puppy. He's like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this for the families. We're gonna do this for our friends. We're gonna show America that we can get together and we could do this. And we're not all just trying. And he's lying. He's a liar.
What? You mean a police officer might lie to you
He's
to get you to do
lying.
what
That's
he wants?
entrapment.
Emotional manipulation.
He
What?
lied. You
Mhm.
lied. I mean, I guess that's what you're supposed to do on the show, but it was just like it's so transparent and really funny. I think it's like there's no way this man's telling the truth. Come on,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He's a worse liar than Ryan.
he's a really bad liar. He's a really
Yeah.
bad liar.
Muna was not buying it.
I'm surprised he survived one undercover mission. You know, like that he didn't just like immediately like no, you're a pig.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not. I'm
No.
telling you, I'm just like you guys.
No,
We're all
you
in
can
this
tell.
together.
Like, I don't have my
Come
wedding
on.
ring. Like
Come
I'm
on,
not
nigga, we're
married.
all with us a brotherhood. We're a band of brothers. Come
Yeah.
on.
Jax Teller, right?
So,
No.
Good night, Sean.
come on, let's do it. All right. I thought this was Ari's best moment when he gets the 2 envelopes and says, "You know, I was just thinking." I thought it was a good moment. Let's get everybody.
He is playful in this part, and that is
Mhm.
enjoyable.
He's
Yeah.
having more fun with it as time goes on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We get a cliffhanger out of this. Ultimately, Muna went exemption also. No exemption for anybody.
No soup for you.
No soup for
Yeah.
you. No exemptions. Okay, quiz is coming up. It was a good day for the mole. They only put $10,000 in the pot. Nobody got an exemption. And so we get a little bit of from what everybody is thinking. Niche says, all of the selfishness really started with Hannah and Muna. Very rich coming from you, Niche.
Yeah.
Nice try, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Ryan thinks very confident that Michael is the mole. Niche thinks Hannah's the mole right
Okay.
before his elimination.
All right. Well, then Hannah's not the mole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not that anyone else thought she was.
Yeah.
Nope. But Niche did, and he's gone.
Bye, Niche. No one's
Bye,
mad
Niche.
to see Niche go.
Sometimes being too confident in yourself is your downfall.
Do you
Yeah.
think that all of
Hubris.
the members of the cast of this season of The Mole get together and don't invite Niche?
They have a group chat.
Yeah.
I think some of them definitely do.
Yeah.
with Ryan's 50-point font.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Well, they don't invite Ari
I wasn't
either,
gonna
so.
invite Niche, but then he saw my phone over my shoulder.
Yeah,
I
well,
couldn't
if I'm
do
Niche-
anything about it.
Yeah, I'm not giving my number to Hannah. She's waiting to send him that Venmo request for
That's
60K.
right. Yeah, maybe Niche left the group chat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Break the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Family breakfast. It's time. And we learned that Muna is always late for everything. And they knew it was suspicious when Muna came to breakfast before Ryan and Deanna.
I think we have to back up here because I think Josh Wigler really wants to talk about the breakfast.
I didn't observe the breakfast spread. I have to tell you, I didn't pay such close attention
Best
to it.
looking orange juice in the entire world.
Yeah, I like orange juice, but it kind of hurts my tummy.
Yeah, I don't drink it, but I might drink this because it looked really good. It was
It
really
hurts my
attractive.
tummy. It makes my tummy feel hot.
You know what bothered me? That we don't have time for Muna to eat. Muna's got to go hungry the whole day. Maybe that's why she didn't find the key, because they didn't let her eat damn breakfast.
Yeah, she was
That's true.
hangry.
Yeah.
We don't have a power bar for Muna that we could take on the road in the car?
You don't think that there's secret like power bars in like the car?
I don't know.
I did
Well-
laugh really hard when he was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, it's time to go," and Muna like turns around.
Sorry,
to breakfast.
Muna.
It's like,
No breakfast
have
for
time
you
for breakfast.
today.
It
Jeez.
sucks.
Is it like when
Okay.
your Uber driver has mints in the little thing by the door?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a little, like one of those like little hard strawberry candies or something.
Did the kidnapped
grandma's
people get
out?
breakfast at least
Yeah.
before they got kidnapped?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if they did.
I mean,
they
Ryan
have
knew. She
fans
probably
in their
planned
kidnap
for it.
location.
But
Yeah,
so-
Ryan ate,
Yeah.
but Deanna,
she ate.
I don't think that Deanna ate because Deanna is like on the ground, and I don't think that they were like bolted to the ground, right? Like they were like clearly they were chained, but you could stand and you could move a little bit. But Deanna's just like, figure it out, and she's just rolling on the ground. Like full cat mode. It was incredible.
to the point where Ryan had to like at a point like maybe we should try something with these sticks.
He was like, "You try something with the sticks. I'm stuck. I'm
too
stuck to the
flimsy.
ground." And
Can't do
Ryan's like,
it.
"This is so much. Would you stop it if I just told you I'm the mole?
So this
Just
is a
go back and
challenge.
look. Like Deanna's just like glued to the ground. It's so funny. So funny.
This is a challenge. This is the season 1 Man in the Iron Mask challenge, right?
Which is one of my favorite things
Yeah,
that's ever happened on
basically.
television is when they
Steve
put a
has
cop in an
self-hating
iron
mole.
helmet and made him
Yeah.
sit in a tower.
Yeah,
for an hour and a half.
this is similar to that, except no one has to wear armor.
Yeah, and there was only one person then, so there was nobody to play off of. I
Yeah.
think this is more exciting.
Yeah. So if Ryan's the mole, was her like mole-ish thing that she did here was Big Ben's statue? Was that really like her like, oh, this will be clever. This will be clever. Big
It
Ben's
was odd.
statue?
Like, it was odd to me that they kept saying, like, I understand you're over water, so you think boathouse, but at no point did they look around and see all the stuff that made it look like a shrine of some sort. Because that never came up.
Yeah.
It did seem like the connection on the phone call was really laggy. And so the 15 seconds seemed to be more like 10 seconds, all told.
Yeah, the phone calls were tough, not super informative when they were calling. That it was interesting the conflict between Sean and Hannah here, where Hannah wants to call and Sean like wants to just let's save the phone calls, but he also didn't like that she was running around too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, all they really got was we're by the water. And fundamentally, that was the information they needed the most. And that the building was probably red because the inside was red. But other than that, nothing really came. But at least
They
they weren't
basically
taking
just
money
Marco
from
Polo'd
the
it.
bot.
They just Marco Polo'd it, and that worked well enough.
We'll just yell along the beach
Yeah.
until somebody yells back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody's looking around. We had our search team, and they actually do a pretty good job. I mean, that Hannah does cover a lot of ground here.
I was impressed. I was impressed that they pulled this off. I absolutely thought that this group was not going to be able to do this.
Yeah. Well, it did have the very suspicious mole timer special of unlocking the door with 6 seconds left.
Get out of here. Come on.
Yeah. No way to verify that at all.
There might be if we're able to like go back and see what the time was on the Big Ben statue before versus where's the time on the Big Ben statue after.
But they could B-roll cut that in anywhere.
That's true.
That's Josh, a total aside, if I may, for my own 15 seconds, that we watched the Back to the Future trilogy this weekend, and I was trying to calculate how the Back to the Future 2 Marty got from the dance, fought with Biff, and then ran 2 miles after Doc got struck by lightning to get back before Marty 1 went back in time.
Yeah. That's
Get out of here with that.
That's some mole timey-wimey bull.
Yeah. Okay. So anything else from this? That Muna, she misses one of the keys, but she seemed to feel bad about it.
Yeah, and she's
He's
like,
the one who found a key.
Yeah. Michael
Nobody
found the new key in like 1 second.
Well, because I think they were both in the back, and the first time they were there, no one else was looking in the back at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't in different places.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything else that was sus from this mission other than Deanna also just being horrible?
I can't get out of here.
I think she was just really overheated and stressed, and that's
she was also claustrophobic. Like maybe she was not the right
person. They stuck a hood over her face. Maybe you don't stick a hood over the face of the claustrophobic person.
I'm sorry, I'm a terrible person. I thought it was so funny. She's like, get me up.
Yeah.
It was great.
But Deanna says that now after being with Ryan, she's starting to suspect Ryan. Interesting.
Beginning
I thought it was smart to have her
winner edit. Let's do
Could
this.
Be.
Yeah.
Could be. Okay.
It was smart to have her take the next phone call and specifically saying, I wanted to see how she would handle talking on the phone and giving up that control to learn some information.
Okay, so we have an invitation for lunch with Ari, which sets up our cliffhanger. Pick the person who is going to be best at adding money to the prize pot. Deanna suggests herself. That's what I would have done. Deanna's. I don't want Muna to go.
Yeah, she doesn't want Muna there. Deanna's been locked in on Muna for a long time. Long time. Well, because Deanna knows that. Like, Deanna knows in her bones what happened in that phone booth. Like, Deanna knows. Deanna knows.
She's a sleuth after all.
Yeah. I guess Tony's not here.
Tony's not here.
She said she passed on it.
She knows she passed on it. She knows Muna did it. It's like when the cat witnesses a crime. I think this happens in Ripley. Like, the cat witnesses the crime, and then Ripley keeps like looking at the cat, and the cat's looking at Ripley like, you're so lucky I can't speak English. Yeah. Because I know what you did. Deanna knows. Deanna's the cat that caught the murder. She's an empath.
Yeah. So Deanna says not Muna, and Ryan very quickly piles on. Oh, Muna, that thing with the key. She didn't see the key.
And then Michael nominates Muna to go.
I love Michael so much. He's great.
They've had this whole conversation about how they're not going to send her, and they're down to Hannah or Deanna, and then Michael's
I'd vote for
Muna.
So great. So great.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Okay, and then so Hannah, she goes with Ari. They make her walk all the way to they could have given her a ride. But I guess after she's run 12 miles already today, I guess this is nothing.
Just a few more steps.
Yeah. And so we go to a restaurant where the mole has cooked up a menu. Okay, 5 baskets are here. We've got 1K. We've got 20K. We've got a correction, we've got an exemption, and we've got game over.
I thought that game over, if you drew that, you're one of the people in the double elimination.
That's what I thought, too.
That's what I thought
the rules
initially.
were very unclear about what was happening.
Yeah, I thought that could have been cool. It's like, it doesn't matter how much you've clocked Ryan for the last 6 episodes. If you pull the wrong thing and you get game over, you're dead. I think that there maybe needs to be a few more like bombs like that in the show. Could potentially, like, if there is just some of this like total wild card element to it that you can't plan for, I think that might not be the worst thing in the world. Be a little disruptive.
Yeah, but what if you send the mole in there and they get kicked out?
Then they're not going to do that.
Well, the mole prepared the baskets. They know where the game over is.
So the mole just takes the exemption and dips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Mole makes it like, a little interesting for the camera, whatever. But Mole doesn't.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Hannah has a nose for money. She ends up picking the basket with $20,000. And now she gets the news. The Mole says the exemption is in basket number 4.
But this is after the Mole lied about the 20Ks in basket 2.
All right. Well, let's now layer in if Hannah does know the identity of the Mole, and Hannah is very confident, does it behoove Hannah to take the exemption if she's feeling like, no, I got this?
Well, no,
and there are folks that don't.
She can't have both. If she wants to go for the exemption, she's giving up the money.
No, I understand that. So does it make sense for her to go for the exemption if she is feeling like I need to build this prize pot because I'm going to win the show?
No, it doesn't. She should, if she's so locked in, if she is 100% sure, and if she's just been picking Ryan after week, and if like there was that fork in the road where Tony went a different way, but she went on Ryan, and she's just kept on the Ryan train, and she's still here, then she should just take that money and go. Absolutely, 100%. So I don't think she should go for the exemption. Yeah, I don't think she will. I think she's gonna keep the money.
She probably has the same confirmation bias that we're talking about now. She's been watching Ryan since they worked the gala. She's seen all the same suspicious stuff that we have ever since then that you would think would continue to point her in that direction.
Yeah. I think she's going to say no. I think she's going to keep the money.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see. We'll see what happens when the Mole comes back. We're going to get the last 2 episodes. When do they drop, Sam? Friday?
Friday. I believe it's Friday.
Okay.
I'm not Sam, but I do believe it's Friday.
Okay. We got some questions from the chat as well. Okay. Let's go ahead. We got, a question from, all right. Who's getting eliminated in the double? Who are we losing when we go down from 7 to 5?
Sean. For sure.
Why
I think
Sean
is
sure?
Totally off the scent. Sean doesn't know.
Who does Sean think it is? Michael
or Muna?
Well, I mean, I guess maybe this episode sort of changed some things, but I was going to say like Deanna's so locked in on Muna that she would maybe be my second pick for who could be going here.
Yeah, but she has switched her suspicions, seemingly.
Yeah.
Okay. So I agree. It could be Sean. What do you think? Could it be Deanna? No, if Deanna's starting to think Ryan, who else could it be? Could it be? I feel like Hannah and Muna were working together pretty well. Could it be Michael?
I think it could be Michael. I think it could be the 2 guys.
What's going to happen?
An all-woman Final Four.
I love that. I love that for us.
What's going to happen when Friday morning rolls around and all 4 of us, we sit down in our comfy chairs? Maybe not. I don't know if your chairs are comfy. So maybe you stand while you watch.
My chair sucks.
You position yourself in front of a screen, a television screen, computer monitor, phone screen, what have you. Maybe you just are listening to the audio. You sign in Netflix. Ta-dum! You go to the Mole. You start watching the Mole. First person out, Sean.
Yeah.
Second person out, Ryan. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you
Deanna's
do? What do you do if Ryan is out? What do you do? Pop quiz, hot shots. What do you do?
It would be interesting, Deanna as the Mole, where that if nobody backed her for, to me it seemed obvious that she should be the person to go. Nobody backed her.
Yeah, I don't see it though. What has she done that's been suspicious? She had claustrophobia.
Josh outlined in the hostage task.
Yeah,
she was not particularly helpful.
Yeah,
doesn't do much. And I think like Deanna's whole thing has been like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna do anything wrong. And she hasn't. Other than like maybe this one really big thing where she's the Mole, and her thought could be, y'all are gonna screw this up anyway. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah. I also had Ryan's big smoking gun. Why it's Michael is because he dropped the treasure chest because it was too heavy and then went back and then got it from the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't look great, but it also seemed like a thing that could absolutely just happen because it was
then he
heavy
went and got
very
it.
deep.
Yeah. If he just left it there, then sure.
Yeah, if he came back, it's like
It's impossible.
well, that's
It
it,
can't be
guys. I'm
done.
sorry. I'm gassed.
Mhm.
I'm gassed. I can't get back down there. My B.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sally.
Yep. Deanna also voted for Q to get back in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ryan did not.
Yeah. Deanna's just trying to do the right thing.
Deanna has looked so earnest and so heartbroken when, like, so excited when things have gone well and so upset when they haven't, like, on an emotional, personal level.
It's the same reason we didn't think it was ever Q, because she's just got too much. She's got too much investment in it.
She goes, it's $20,000 and it's Q.
Yeah.
Like she wants this human being
this
back
is what
in the
I'm
game
saying.
because of who he is.
Zen and I are on the same page. Deanna doesn't have to do anything. Everyone else is doing too much. We did too much.
All right. Here's Ryan with a very important message Ryan has sent. They need to stop attaching exemptions and challenges. It's an automatic fail. Do more secret missions like the cake challenge with Dorothy and Liese. Remind me who Dorothy and Liese are.
Is that the blueberries?
That's the blueberry thing. It was in season 2.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember a Liese, but I remember a Dorothy.
A Dorothy. I recall a Dorothy as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about a question from YouTube user? Did the 2 prisoners in the temple know that the phone calls were limited to 15 seconds? Apparently not.
By the way, I absolutely think whoever YouTube user is the mole.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
YouTube users
you
broke my
Ryan definitely
microphone.
knew, but I don't think Deanna knew.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I think I'm pretty sure Ari told them that the prisoners do not know that the calls are 15 seconds, which is why they had to say that first in their first 15 seconds. Like, we don't have time for a leisurely chat here. And I did think Sean did a good job in that first phone call of being like, we have 15 seconds. Please tell me what you can see, hear, smell, because that's the information that's going to be helpful to us instead of going into a whole long thing that they didn't have time for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if the temple was smelling too great by the end of it.
Well, but if you can smell the ocean, for instance, even if you didn't see the water.
Okay.
You saying the ocean doesn't smell good?
I'm not saying it smells bad, but I'm saying you can smell the ocean.
Like, not every piece of the ocean smells good.
All right. And then Thomas says, do you think the mole would do better with the fans if it was only 1 episode a week?
I think that there's a few things that need to shift, but I would say that is one that I think that there was a question earlier somewhere in here about what is separating the mole from being talked about with the same fervor as your Survivors, your Big Brothers, your Amazing Races. And I think one of the first thing that came to mind is like there's a consistency with the host, at least. So there's always like a familiarity, whether you like Jeff or Julie or Phil. Like, I think at least there's like sort of like that steady anchor, that steady presence that goes through all of
character.
This. And like with the mole, it's just like it's like a new person every year. So like you can't.
Ironically, the host is often an anchor.
And that is very ironic. Very good. And I feel like that makes it like kind of inconsistent. But I do think another piece of it is the argument about, weekly TV versus the binge drop. I think that there's a definite time and place for the binge drop where it really, really works. I think on a reality show, I think like that week in between where we all get to guess and we all get to like, marinate over the same clues. And then, the next week we come back. Like Traitors season 1 was a binge drop and Traitors season 2 was weekly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did there seem to be an uptick in the chatter with Traitors season 2? So
yes, for sure.
But as a Netflix show, they don't do this.
They don't do that.
What Netflix is doing right now is the closest to really doing this that they ever truly do.
Yeah, and I think it's a rhythm thing for me because I feel like the rhythm of this is all off. Like, I want every episode to end with somebody getting kicked off. Like, that's what reality TV is. And that makes it like I kind of have to treat each one of these drops as one very long episode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I also feel like that the medium of having these on Netflix, I just feel like that this is not the type of show that really hits on Netflix. Like, I feel like that they had success with the first season of The Circle, but I feel like since then, I don't really think that there's been, and tell me if I'm missing something, any sort of like strategic reality, unless you want to count Squid Game, the reality show, but I feel like that was like in its own category. I just feel like that these shows on Netflix have not really hit the same way that Netflix dating reality shows have hit.
Yeah.
They haven't had another big success. And really, The Circle, I feel like, was sort of like a passing fad that they somehow have made 19 seasons of.
I only ever watched the first one.
Yeah, same. I watched the first one, and then I just didn't have the interest in, doing it all in a shot. I mean, I think the beauty of reality TV, especially, and I think generally the beauty of TV, but really the beauty of reality TV is like that communal experience that we all come together. We watch at the same time. It's sports more than TV. You want to know the results at the same time as everybody else. And you want to do the Monday morning quarterbacking alongside everybody else. And you want to put out 7 podcasts in a week about a single episode. And I think like there's just something like that's missing. That's preventing the show from catching fire. So I think like broadly for reality TV, I think that's the case. I definitely think for like reality comp TV, I think that's the case. I think for The Mole, it's definitely something that would improve the vibes, the chatter, the memes,
the zeitgeist.
For a show like this that is a mystery, fundamentally, you want to be able to have time to talk with people through the signs, the clues, the suspicious behavior, and be able to work on that together. And when you get 5 episodes all at once at the very beginning, and a third of your cast has already been eliminated by the time you're done watching the first day, that really shifts the experience of it for sure.
Like, remember how everybody spent that hiatus between the first season of Lost and the second season of Lost. Remember how everybody spent that entire time like just going completely bananas over like opening up the source code of websites and going down this rabbit hole and like close reading the stuff, the like supplementary stuff on the like we don't have time to do that now because we have to watch 4 hours of it a week. So we're never going to have Lost style mysteries on The Mole. And look, I said something nice about Lost.
I was really nervous about where that was going to go.
Okay. All right. So we've got 2 episodes of The Mole left. We'll find out what happens in the double elimination. And then do we know when we're getting back together yet? Is that still TBD?
Probably like a weekish.
Okay.
Weekish.
All right. We'll talk about everything. We'll know the identity of the mole. We'll know the winner of the mole and everything else in between now and then. Sam says that's TBD at this hour. Okay. Anything else about week 2 of The Mole?
Thought this was
fun.
Thought this was fun from Dolores. Dolores asked question, would you prefer knowing who the mole is from the beginning, just like we do with the traders? And it sounds like you all do. You already
No, I want options. Yeah. I want the mole edit. I want the like knowing the mole edit, and I want the ignorant edit.
Yeah.
And I want to watch the first one, and then I want to watch the second one.
Interesting.
Yeah. I do wonder maybe if that's the twist we need to make to unlock the potential here in this new version of the mole.
Then it's like, just what the traders.
Well, I guess so, but that we'd still
but
be
the traders
like,
can win the money.
And we wouldn't know who was gonna like do the worst on the quiz, and we might be able to get the mole's perspective of like, oh, I think Deanna's on to me, so I gotta like try to like really throw her off the scent, but I still need to like if we were getting the mole's confessionals about what the mole was doing.
I know that we talked about this a year ago. I still like the idea that the money the mole takes.
Oh, everybody likes that idea.
The mole keeps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would make it more interesting for sure. I always like the episode at the end after we do know who the mole is, where they go back through and show you the sabotage and the clues, if it's the first 2 seasons, that were so obvious about how you could have known who the mole was.
Yeah, there's a ship on the painting in the background.
It is exactly the one that I'm thinking of.
Well, they did that last
but you
time
do get
also,
and you do get some confessionals from the mole. I remember in season 1 particularly being like, this is really hard. I'm really stressed all the time. It's hard to be lying to people every second of the day. And getting some of that insight, I think, is really interesting. Exactly like you're saying, Jess. I would love a secondary mole edit where you get, or like DVD commentary, essentially, of like the mole talking over the whole show.
I love that. Like, you know how they had that one Netflix series where you could watch the episodes in any order?
Mhm.
I want something like that where you can choose to have the moles input or not.
Josh, can you name that show?
No.
It was Josh. You remember you had a whole plan to
my mind was in a totally different place, and I didn't listen to anything you guys just said right now, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It's called?
I went to a completely different place just now. I was in my head.
The other commentary track on.
I was in my head where what I was thinking was when you were saying like 2 different mole edits. In my mind, I was like, wait a minute, 2 different mole edits, 2 different moles. What if
Ryan and Michael?
What if for the future it's moles, the moles, and there's 2 moles. We got double moles. We have the second mole to patrol for. Maybe those 2 moles don't know who each other are, and maybe those 2 moles are working against each other too somehow.
Can I throw something out there?
Yeah.
And this goes back
I'm not
to
going to hear it because I'm still thinking about it.
Okay, Josh, you can go pay attention to whatever you want to pay attention to. I'm going to talk to the 2 people that are listening to me.
Yeah.
God, it's like
and
it's
the
like
podcast listeners.
It's like my kids in the room.
Where are we?
So this goes back to a podcast that I did with Rob like a dozen years ago.
Okay.
About international Survivor twists.
Yes.
And there was a Survivor season somewhere in Europe where they had a mole on Survivor. And if you thought you knew who the mole was, at any point during the game, you could just go and like ring this gong in the center of camp and announce that and make your guess. It was a lot like Among Us before.
Among Us would be a great reality show.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. Like they had Candy Crush as a reality show.
I mean, I guess Among Us is a reality show every single week.
If you can turn Wordle into a reality show.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's called Lingo, and it's hosted by RuPaul, and it's
Lingo predated Wordle.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, by the way, if you're interested in shows with multiple moles, that the people that produce Jet Lag, that Taryn and Sasha have been covering, have a brand new show that's coming to Nebula called The Getaway, where it's Oops, all moles.
Ooh. Oops, all moles? So wait, everyone's a mole?
Yes, but nobody knows that everybody's a mole. They all think they're the only mole.
That's very funny.
Yes. So looking forward to getting the chance to watch that and talk about it with Sasha and Taryn.
That's a great idea for a single season of television.
Yeah, I think it's like 5 episodes.
No, you can never do it again.
Right? You can do it if you do like they did on Too Hot to Handle.
Getaway. Yeah.
And film 2 of them back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Or like every season, you're like, oh, welcome to this new show, The Chumps. One of you is a chump, but who is it? And then it's like,
I mean, they did what, 2 or 3 Joe Schmoes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the point, though, of Joe Schmo.
They did Undercover Boss for how long?
They did 2 Joe Millionaires.
Yeah.
A lot of Joes.
They did 3 Joe Millionaires.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. All right.
3 Joe Millionaires and an I Want to Marry Harry.
Yes.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
So lots of different ways that it could go for what comes after the mole. We still got one more mole recap to do. And who knows, maybe an interview? Let's see what happens after this. All right. So Zed, what's coming up for you?
This is it. And boy, do I hope that whenever our next podcast is, everything goes okay and I can just be there. Because the trials and tribulations that I've gone through.
If my microphones break, you're the first person I'm calling.
Yes, absolutely.
I can't believe I fixed it. I'm so proud of myself. You have the most experience of anybody
on the panel taking apart and putting one of these things together.
Brooklyn Zed, the MacGyver of RHAP.
Just to top it all off, I couldn't find 2 of the screws because they were connected to my magnetic headphones.
Oh my God. Wow.
But yeah, I'm here and I'm on the internet at Hard Rock Hope, Twitter and Instagram, and streaming games now that my microphone's working again at twitch.tv/Hard Rock Hope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, great job, Zed. Glad you were able to work it out. Okay. Josh, what's next for you?
RHAP. We know scripted TV. We've got tons of podcasts talking about all of the television that's not reality TV. It's the Tastemakers. We've got TV for Real, the weekend program. Hot D is heating up. House of the Dragon had a really big episode this week, so you can get all of that at the RHAP We Know Scripted TV podcast feed at robhasawebsite.com/scripted. And I'm on the internet at Round Howard.
All right. Can't wait to talk about the Hot D this week.
Did you like it?
Yeah, very exciting.
Great. Can't
Very
wait.
exciting.
Love
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Stayed awake the entire show.
That's
okay?
impressive for Rob. Very impressive for Rob. Normally, Rob is like I was on the podcast while Jess was talking about interesting things, and I couldn't stop thinking about moles.
Yep. Okay. All right. So they said, though, no more podcasts for me after 8 p.m. That's what they said. I got that promise, so it's going to be a different story around here. All right.
Okay, got you.
And then, Jess, what's coming up for you?
Well, here on Reality Wrap-Ups, I've been covering Amazing Race Canada with Dan Heaton, and we dropped the coverage of the first episode last week, and those are going to be coming to your podcast feeds on Friday mornings because it takes us a little while to go to Canada and watch the show and come back. So we're doing our best out here. Just a couple of lousy Yankees talking about Canada and having a good time doing it. And then I'm going to be on another podcast coming up, but I don't remember if I'm allowed to talk about it or not. But you'll see me out here somewhere.
Suspense.
Okay. All right.
Secrets.
Very exciting. Okay. All right. And then check out everything else we have coming up, including Ask Dr. Christian Hubicki coming up later on Monday night. And
Gotta ask him about the mole. He,
okay.
big
he
mole.
had
Big
a
mole
lot
guy.
of mole takes last time around.
We did a whole episode with him last
If
time.
I could guess, I'm going to suspect he hasn't seen it yet.
I think that might be true.
I've gotten zero texts about
That's
the
why
mole.
we haven't heard from him.
Yes.
Okay.
I heard from him at the start of the season. He asked, "Is it any good?" And I said,
Yeah.
"Watch and find out."
All right. Yeah.
The podcast is good.
The podcast is good. Let us know what you think and your theories in the comments here on YouTube. And we'll be back to talk about the mole finale coming up soon. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.